Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Today, I'm going to be doing a video on my EDH updates. And I like to do these videos every once in a while to just kind of talk about like where I'm at with EDH, what's going on, because I realized that I started talking about a new deck that I was building without ever doing a video, like announcing that I was building it. So I thought this would be kind of fun to do some updates just to kind of be like, hey, I'm doing this. I took apart this, I'm building this project. This is kind of like building on my last EDH updates, which I might have filmed a month or so ago. It was definitely a decent amount of time, or maybe like 2 months ago or something like that. But this is for December. I hope you guys have a great, why am I saying have a great day? We're not ending the video. Tracy, get your life together. Okay, we always have at least like one hot moment where we're like, that's not what I was trying to say. So, yeah, let's get into it. So the first update, which made a lot of my friends really sad about this decision, is that I took apart my Sliver Queen deck. So for those who've been following me for a really long time, for those like OG people, you would know that I had this ladies deck a really long time ago. It was Horde of Notions, and it was called Notions of a Teenage Drama Queen, named by Paul. It was perfect. It was on point, because Sliver Queen at the time was just, I don't know, like, if I never considered it as a commander, I don't really know. But anyways, I got my hand on a Sliver Queen, and then I think I hung on to it for a while. No, I'm sorry. I then put Sliver Queen as the commander of the first deck. This is the first deck that I had years ago. I took it apart, and then I rebuilt it. I rebuilt it. Filmed a deck tech on it. I realized the deck tech is like 2 years old at this point. And someone had requested, I get requests all the time to do updated deck techs. It's like, it is the most popular videos on my channel, and it's probably the thing I get requested to do the most out of all of the videos. So someone had requested to do it, and then I was thinking, yeah, I'll do it. And then I was putting it in my to-do list, and then I think I filmed another deck tech or something, and I like to spread them kind of like out. Like, I don't really know why, but I don't like to film them like super back to back or anything like that. But I didn't film it, and then I like one day just got really mad at it, and then I just like took it apart. And I told my one friend Kevin, and he got really upset. And it was like a weird reaction that I feel like I've never gotten like mad or upset at anyone. I've been like Paul took like his like Nekuzar deck apart, and I was like, that was such a fun deck, and he's like, that deck was not fun. And I was like, okay, like it's fun because he's like in the room right now, which he's normally never in the room when I film videos. So this is like particularly weird that I'm talking about him. But anyways, basically my rationale and like why I decided to do this is because the mana base is so jank. It's 5 color, right? And it just wasn't working. It felt like I never had the colors that I needed to cast the things that I wanted to cast. And let me tell you, girl had fixing. Girl had a lot of dual lands, and it just never worked out to be the way that I wanted it to be. I felt like I tweaked it all the time. Like, it was one of the decks that I probably tweaked the most. Like, I added new cards, and I tried so many things. And basically, I got really upset, and I just did it, and I have been thinking about it ever since, and Paul got upset too that I took it apart, and I realized, I was like, I kind of miss it, not gonna lie. It was a unique deck. By no means was it the most powerful deck, like, that I owned, like, at all. It was definitely not up there, but something about it was just so unique and got a lot of reactions from people. A lot of people thought the deck was really unique and really interesting, and I got just like a lot of comments on it, and people were just really intrigued. And so kind of where I'm at right now is I'm thinking possibly of rebuilding it. I'm not 100% sure on this though. I am still really up in the air. I actually have Sliver Queen. So Paul and I have a box of cards that we keep for ourselves. It's like our personal stash, and then cards that are in our binders is everything for trade. That's kind of how I like to organize it. And I have Sliver Queen actually in my binder, not pulled aside. And I think my ideal behind it was like, if I'm trading for something that like I really, really want or something like that, I would do it, or like a bunch of cards. But it's like also like an $80 card or something like that. So I'm like, oh, and she's like also on the reserve list. So I feel like her price won't really go down. But now that as I'm like talking about it, I'm like, maybe I should just yank her from the binder, because it's one of like, you know those cards that you have, and it really has nothing to do with the cost. It's just like you remember when you got it and like where you got it and like who you got it from, and there's like that story. I feel that with that card in particular. Like I remember getting it, I traded for her, and it was at the time one of the most expensive cards I owned. She was like $30. Now I'm at like a very different place where $30 magic card is not, like, I'll say that all the time. I'll be like, oh my god, like, Damnation's like $30. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, whatever. Which is ridiculous. That card should not be $30. But anyways. But, like, I don't know. It's just, now that I'm talking about it, I think I am going to pull it from my trade binder. I think if I do rebuild it, it's going to look very different in a way that I'm going to sculpt this deck so it functions a lot better and it's a lot more generous on the mana base, which bums me out because that means I might have to cut cards that are just really challenging to cast for the sake, and I think I just need way more fixing is partially the problem. But I think it's a bummer because then I have to cut cards that I want to play because there's so many cool things. But that's not my focus right now. I'll kind of talk about what my focus right now is. So that's kind of where I'm at with ladies. But if you guys have any like suggestions for like 5-color decks, like how to build it, like I would really love to know that. That would really help me out a lot. And honestly, I feel like my deck building has gotten really much better and I'm much better about balancing things, but for some reason I just haven't been able to crack the code on this one. It's been a real challenge. So we've talked about that enough. I have plenty of other things to talk about. So let's move on. The next thing that I want to talk to y'all about and chat to y'all about is actually another fun story, is that I built a Leela. And actually, funny story, when I first saw a Leela, I was immediately like, she's rad, want to build her. And then I don't know what it was in me, but for some reason I just had it in my head that so many other people were going to build her. And I was like, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. And that sounds really hipster of me, but I think the main thing is like, I don't want to build a deck and then have like 7 of my other friends have the same deck, because we all have various decks. Like my friend group, we don't have a lot of overlap, which is really unique and really wonderful, and it makes for a really awesome EDH environment. That's one reason that I'm really hyped for Commander Legends that's coming out, when there's going to be like 70 new legends, because I'm like, it opens the pool, so it's not like you get a set and there's like 3 new commanders, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, everyone's gonna build, because, you know, a lot of people just want the new, they want the new thing, which makes sense. So, basically decided not to build her, and then one day I don't even know what, I was just like, I want to build this deck. And I literally took our box of cards that I was telling y'all about earlier that just has like a bunch of cards. I took the box and I literally bought together 99 cards minus a Leela, because I didn't have her, and I just put it together with cards I had. If y'all remember, and I don't think I ever filmed a deck tech on this, but I had Brea a bit ago, and then a bit ago, it was like a year ago, it was longer than a year, it was a long time ago that I had Brea, and she was Commander 2018, I think, and I built her pretty quickly after, I think, that was, or like a couple months later. So anyways, I decided that I built this deck, and basically what I noticed immediately was that the deck functioned with very minimal effort. Leela is a very strong deck of mine. She is consistent. She does a very similar thing where she just pumps out a bunch of artifacts and enchantments and just makes fairies. She can go wide, she can have a small swarm and then buff her team. There's a lot of anthem-y effects in there. There's probably like 6 anthem effects, which I think is a decent amount. The deck is really fun because you can run a variety of cards, where she's a commander that I could totally see you building budget. I actually haven't inputted this deck, I don't think, into my tapped out, so I don't know. I have no idea how much the cost is. I don't think I've avidly purchased, except for her herself. I don't think I purchased anything for the deck. I had everything already, and I don't know what cards I will buy for the deck, because I just think the deck functions so well that I'm like, the tweaks I need are very minimal, where the cards that I get will just make the deck better, but it's not like if I don't have X, Y, and Z, my deck won't be good, if that makes sense. It's a very fun deck. It's very different from anything I had, and if y'all have been keeping up with me for a while, you know that I've tried different artifact decks in the past, and I haven't liked any of them. I tried Brea, which I talked about. I've tried cats, equipment, artifact kind of things. I hated it. I didn't like it at all. That is not my strategy. And I thought I wanted to do something different. And that's one thing I like about her is she's different, but she's so fun. So I'm really about it. I've been playing her a ton and she's incredible. So I cannot wait to show y'all the deck tech. That'll definitely be coming sometime in the new year. That'll be the next deck tech that I film though, unless I manage to do a budget deck tech before. I keep saying I'm gonna do them. I promise. They're coming. They're coming. Okay, cool. I got six little things on my list. I gotta keep myself a little organized because I don't want to. I'm going a little bit out of order. Okay, cool. So, the next thing that I want to talk to y'all about is my Moogies deck, and I actually don't remember where I left off on my last EDH Updates video. If I had built that deck, I can't really recall, but I built this deck. It actually has a full 100 cards. That was a very similar situation to a Leela. I didn't dump anything into it really, and then I basically, so I'm sorry, I misspoke. I basically had maybe like 85 cards, and then I bought like 15 or so a couple months ago when I bought cards. Honestly, was this during the summer or like September? It might have been September, October, around there. And I bought the rest of the cards that I needed to get me to that full 100. But a lot of the cards in the original 85 were like filler cards. They were cards that I knew were going to come out, but they were just kind of like placeholders. And the deck, and again, this is a deck that I actually had a long time ago that I took apart that I decided to rebuild. Obviously now it's a lot more refined and a lot more like, it's just a lot better. However, this is still not an ultimately powerful deck. It's a sacrifice themed deck, so it's basically about, it's about sacrifice and also just like doing a lot of damage, which I think is like the big difference, is it's kind of got these sort of like one of the cards in there is like I don't remember the name, but there'll be a picture on the screen of like that pirate that like thirds the life. It's not a sacrifice type of effect, but it does a lot of damage to people, including yourself, but it doesn't really matter because it damages everyone. So cards like that, and then Moogies is like a consistent, one of my friends called him the alarm clock of the magic world, and I think that is like the most perfect description because it's true. He literally is an alarm clock. He's just like, every turn it's just like, are you going to pay your Moogies trigger? Are you going to pay your Moogies trigger? Like, it's hilarious. But, anyways, so I rebuilt that, and it's definitely getting there. There's about like 7 or 8 cards that I'm pretty unhappy with that I am going to replace. I don't necessarily know the next time I'm going to be buying Magic cards. I will still play the deck if I'm in a lower tier game. I think the deck's at a 4 right now for my standards. 4 out of 10, 10 being like super, super powerful. And I don't think, it's definitely annoying, like annoying to like other people, not like annoying for me. It's a very fun deck to play, and I'm glad that I rebuilt it. It's just not where I want it to be, but I'm gonna get those cards eventually. And for me, having 7 or 8 cards that I'm pretty unhappy with is a pretty big chunk for me. That's nearly 1/10 of my deck that I don't like. So it's not like a Leela. Like, a Leela is like, I have everything playable. Like, I am so happy with how that deck won. Again, I could get cards that make it better, of course. I could get cards for every deck that would make it better. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So, that's kind of where I'm at with, Moogies. And then kind of like the other sort of like things that I might not necessarily have as much to say about is I am contemplating, this is just an idea about Nagila 5-color warriors. I don't know. It's just something that I thought about. I don't really know where I'm at. I wrote this list actually a bit ago, so I might be in like a little bit of a different place than when I was like at the time I was writing it. Honestly, I don't really know about Nagila. I think if I rebuild Sliver Queen, I don't think I'll build Nagila because that's 2 5-color decks, and yes, they're going to be very, very different, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. The reason that I am thinking about this is because I have a foil Nagila, and when I got it, it was like $70, and I honestly think it's still like $60 or something like that. Like, it's still a really expensive foil, and I just like, it's just, I don't know, it's really special. Like Paul opened something in it was a foil. Paul, do you remember what card it was? It was a foil something in the box that we gave to Chuck, and it was like $200.
True Name Nemesis.
We opened a foil True Name Nemesis, and at the time it was like $200 or $250. And so our friend Chuck, who loves foils, literally, this was hilarious. We opened it and Chuck was like, I'll be right there. And literally drove. I texted him like maybe 10 minutes after we opened it. We were getting our card sorted. And he was like, I'll be right there, and literally drove to pick up this card. Like, the most dedicated I've ever seen anyone who, like, really wanted that magic card. Like, and it wasn't even, I was like, hey, like, I'm talking to, like, 5 other people about this card. No, he was the only person I told, and he was like, I'm coming over, and, like, literally came over. Anyways, gave us some cash for it, and then the others, we were, like, looking through stuff and, like, trading, and there wasn't a whole lot that I was, like, seeing. This was kind of before, like, Chuck works at Mages now, and he has a ton of cards, like, a ton more than at the time that we got this card. And this was like, I don't think this was this summer. It might have been the last summer. I don't really remember at this point. But it was like, there wasn't a whole lot going on, so I was like, oh, like, I don't really see a lot, and then I saw Nagila, and so it was, like, partially, like, a card that, like, Paul had bought the box, so it was, like, partially, like, something that he got for me, so, I don't know, I just feel sentimental towards this foil Nagila, okay? It's, like, one of my favorite cards in my collection, and I want to use her, damn it, so I'm very committed to like, utilizing her somehow, and you could be like, oh, just Tracy, like, put her in ladies, like, I don't know, she was in there before, which is, like, why I have her, but anyways, so, that's kind of where I'm at about Nagila. I think she's rad, and maybe I'll do it. I don't really know, though. But, yeah, that's Nagila. Okay, sea monsters. I need some help with sea monsters. As you can see, there is no picture here because I have no idea what commander I want to run. I just want to say I do not want to do green-blue. If you are going to recommend green-blue, I don't want to do that. I already have Merfolk and green-blue. I do want to have green-blue as the colors, but I want an additional color of some sort of sea monstery type thing. This has, like, been an idea in my head for a while. I don't know if this is going to be, something that's executed. I think the main reason I want to do this is because I want to run the Jellyfish, because, come on, I run this card in Tassiger, but I just want to run it in this deck, too. Like, this card's so sweet. I don't know. But as I'm, like, thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know, do I want to build this deck? I feel like if I'm not enthusiastic about it, like, that means I don't want to build it, you know what I mean? But this next deck I am enthusiastic about, and that is... How do you pronounce her name? I don't know. There's a picture here. Reena? Reen? I don't know how to say that. But anyways, I remember when she came out and we got her on the, not the box topper, but the card that comes with the box. What is that called? I have no idea right now what it's called. It's like the promo card or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, we got her and it was immediately like, she's cool. She reminds me of Mael. Yeah, Mael or Mayella. And I was like, she's really rad. I want to build her. And then I was like, I want to do it. And then I kind of forgot about it, actually. Like, we had her in the box. And normally what I do is, or box that I was telling y'all about. And normally what I do, actually, is I take her and then cards I accumulate through our box, my binder, Paul's binder, and then I put them in a box and I put them in my binder, in my bag, so that I can take it and like look at the cards to make sure I don't double trade. And then also, so that if I'm buying any cards or whatever, I can like reference it or whatever. I didn't do that. I forgot that we got her, and I was looking through cards one day, and I was like, oh my god, I said I was going to build her, and I totally forgot about her. She's probably like, in terms of, like, what I'm gonna do next kind of thing and where I'm at, is tweaking Moogies is, like, my #1 thing, so I'm gonna do that first. But once that project is kind of settled and I, like, get the majority of that kind of tweaked at this point, I think she's gonna be my next project because it's a different color combo than I feel like I have anything of, and I just feel like I get to run really fun legendaries. I'm like about this life. I'm really excited. I think she's gonna be a very different kind of deck for me. I don't run a lot of red in EDH, so it's gonna be something that's pretty different, so I'm excited. I realized that I didn't put these other things on my list, and I guess I should update you guys because I definitely talked about them in my last EDH updates, and that was Goblins. So I had started accruing Goblins literally in like the summer, perhaps before. This was gonna be, I'm blanking on the commander name, Grenzo, Mono Red Grenzo, and I've been collecting cards for it, and I had about like half the deck, which meant that I pretty much had to buy like a lot of pieces for it, which is pretty unusual for me. Again, I usually have about 75% of a deck, and then I like buy the 25% or whatever, or manage to get in trades. Like, I get a lot of it, so you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm like one day I'm like, I'm gonna build this deck, and then I buy everything. Like, I don't do that. I think on it, I trade for cards, and then I buy it when I'm ready. But anyways, I basically have been sitting on those cards for a while, and I'm kind of in a spot where I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I did trade for some cards. I have not put any money in it or anything like that. I just kind of don't really know if I want to build that, have that project be next. I feel like I was kind of enthusiastic about it, but then I was kind of looking at the cards like, I don't know if this is a deck for me. And again, I feel like that's partially my problem is I'm trying to do different things, but then if I'm doing something different, then it's like I don't like it. And I want to find like something like a Leela was different, but I like her. And I want to find more of that, if that makes sense. So same thing with Keranos. Keranos is going to be I don't want to say chaos, because that's not the type of deck it's going to be. It's going to be a steal your deck kind of thing, where it's going to be like, I'm going to play your deck. I don't know if the deck is going to be good, is partially my problem. It's definitely very different, and I haven't spent anything on the deck so far, so realistically all the cards that I get have been either like trades or cards I had, so like I don't really care. I'm kind of just at a spot where I don't really know what I want to do with that deck either, so I'm kind of at like, I'm in a weird situation. So hopefully in my next EDH updates, I'll have more answers for you guys where I can like, I don't know, actually talk to you guys about like what I'm going to be doing with these things, because at this point I really don't know. But yeah guys, that is it for EDH updates for December. Hopefully when I hit y'all up in, when would I film this next? I don't know, in a couple of months or whatever, I'll have some more clear-cut answers to just be like, this is what I decided to do with this and whatnot. But I pretty much only film it when there are changes. Like, I don't just film it if like everything stays the same. Like, these were clear differences, but I'll definitely let y'all know. But pretty much I think my next project, like I said, is going to be Reena, however you say that, I don't really know. And tweaking Moogies. Those are kind of like my two projects that I'm gonna like do at this point, but I'm at a pretty content place right now with decks. I'm not avidly running out to like do anything. So I'm kind of like in a weird spot where I'm like, would I rather spend money on like foiling out decks or like building a new deck? I'm pretty happy with my number. I think I have a variety of decks. I think yeah, I'm kind of at like a good spot where I think I have a variety and like I can change things up, because I don't sit there, play a deck again. I only do that if I have like a game where I don't do anything, where like the game ends really quickly, or I just like don't draw well, you know what I mean? But that doesn't usually happen. So yeah guys, that is it for my EDH updates. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like this video if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys in my next video.